So realistically, Azurá Stevens is simultaneously the perfect player for quite a lot of teams in free agency and surplus to requirements at our current team. The likelihood of Azurá Stevens leaving the LA Sparks is near 100%. But this is the funniest social media tug of war ever because the Indiana Fever fans and the Dallas Wings fans are fully convinced they are getting Azurá Stevens. And do you want to know what fans are going to get Azurá Stevens? It's not the LA fans, not Indiana, not Dallas. It is one of the Toronto Tempo or the Portland Fire. She is going to be the franchise player for an expansion franchise. It is as simple as that. It is as simple as that. The only way this doesn't happen is if, and it's a big if, they believe they can get value for her in a core and trade. And I don't think they can get value for her in a core and trade. And I also think that Diarca Hamby and Kelsey Plum they'd much rather use some of their core years up. But at the end of the day, she is a fantastic power forward. 6'6", can shoot the ball, rebounds, big, plays defense. And the big problem with Azurá in the Sparks is that if you're the Sparks, you have to start Cameron Brink. You cannot bring Cameron Brink off the bench. She's too good. She is too good to be a bench player. And that's the thing when it comes to Cameron Brink is like you have to make a choice now. You have to choose. Do you want to sell high on Cameron Brink and build around Azurá, or do you want to try to see what Cameron Brink can become and you can let Azurá walk? So the reality of the situation is that everyone is seeing everything. It's like people are there tweeting everything, being like, Azurá, do you like Texas? Do you like Texas? Remember I played there. Everything is just at unrivaled. Azurá with Paige. Azurá constantly. I think Azurá is like liking comments and putting eye emojis about her going to Dallas. And by the way, this doesn't mean anything. We learned from last year. As Fever fans with Satu, is that Satu kept talking about the Fever positively. And it turns out that like Satu, like the Fever were never even remotely close to being in the, they were never even close to being, like a team in the running for Satu Sabally. Like they weren't even in the running for Satu. But yet, obviously, a lot of Fever fans made themselves believe that they were in the running for Satu. The reality is like Azurá Stevens. I think Azurá Stevens is essentially making it clear that she's not going to be a Spark. And there is no chance that Azurá Stevens ends up on the Wings. None. Just like, unfortunately, there is no chance Azurá Stevens ends up on the Fever. Why? Because she is an unrestricted free agent who will make way more money outside of LA than she would in LA. The reality is that if the LA Sparks waste a protected pick on her, then she walks for free and can go wherever she wants. If they don't protect her, any expansion team would be dumbasses to not have her as their core player because there's not going to be many players of Azurá Stevens level available in that draft. So yeah, it is genuinely a really interesting thing to see when it comes to Azurá. Because again, Fever fans are convinced she joined the Fever. Dallas Wings fans are convinced she joined the Wings. Azurá Stevens is not joining either of those teams. Azurá Stevens would be like top on the free agent priority. But it was only when I was thinking about it more, I'm like, she's actually not even going to be available. There's not a situation where Azurá Stevens is going to be available for the Indiana Fever. It's not even about, would the Fever want her? Of course the Fever would want her. The Fever would want her, the Wings would want her, the Sky would want her. The Sky probably wouldn't, but ideally, she's actually an ideal front court partnership for Angel Reese. The reality is that bringing her in for Angel Reese and having Cardoso on the bench or getting value for Cardoso, probably the best thing you want to do if you want to win. I'm just trying to think of a team. She'd be fantastic for the Lynx. She would solve their height issue. She'd be fantastic for, maybe not the Liberty. She'd be fantastic for the Aces, but they probably couldn't afford her. She'd be fantastic for Dream. Give her Brittany Griner's money and the Atlanta Dream don't fucking loot. Might win the chip last year. You've now got a situation where there's this one player who very clearly is a starter on 13 of the 15 teams, and one of them happening to be her own. She's a max contract player, probably should have been an all-star. And obviously her stats went down once Cameron Brink came back, but was playing like an all-star up to that point. And I think every team and every fan base is going to delude themselves into thinking they have a chance with Azurá Stevens. And I think in terms of pure basketball, it absolutely makes the most sense for her to go to Indiana, or Atlanta. Atlanta is a really good spot for her. Her with Bree Jones, and her replacing Naz Hill. Like, Atlanta's actually a really good spot for her, in terms of pure basketball. I don't think Dallas is the greatest spot because, like, Louisa Geisel-Suter, I do think projects to do what Azurá does, but probably better long term. I think she projects to probably be a better player than her. And they have a whack as well. I don't know what direction Dallas are looking to go. I don't know if they're looking to go young. I don't know if they're looking to go old. I don't know if they're looking to go Paige and Enrique and draft Awa. I don't know if they're looking to trade Enrique and draft AZ. I don't know if they're just crazy and they're trying to figure out a way of turning Paige Bueckers into Julie Alamon on steroids and making her be the pass first point guard and for AZ and Enrique. I have no idea. I have no idea what Dallas are doing. But if you're talking about actual basketball scenarios, Dallas would be... Like, I would put Dallas below the Chicago Sky in good scenarios for her. I genuinely would. I think realistically, it's one of the weaker teams for her to go to, if we're being completely honest. But yeah, look, it for me anyway, this is something that is going to be quite a bit of free agency, is that we don't know once the expansion... Like, we all have our assumptions for the expansion draft. We all have our assumptions for what the expansion draft is going to be like. And that's absolutely fine. That is absolutely, absolutely fine. Again, with our assumptions. But at the end of the day, it's we can make assumptions. But until we know anything for sure, I don't think it's there's any point like speculating. But the reality is like almost certainly she's going to be taken. She's not going to be cored. Almost certainly she is going to be taking the expansion draft. There is, I would say, there's an 80 to 90% chance that she's taken in the expansion draft. But yeah, look, it is what it is. What it is. It is what it is, and I do think that a lot of people in general they're kind of looking too much on social media when it comes to free agency, because at the end of the day, look, it's all basketball. Like, the amount of hate Sydney Colson got for that, and for joining the Fever, DeWanna Bonner, like the ridiculous shit that the ridiculous stuff for DeWanna Bonner had to deal with, and by the way, by the media that took her side in Fever situation. DeWanna Bonner has literally gone and had he's had public spats on Twitter with accounts that are now DeWanna Bonner superfans, and it's only the Fever fans that are a problem. Hell no. I can guarantee you, the worst things that were said about DeWanna Bonner last year were not said by Fever fans. They were said after the Indiana Fever played the Chicago Sky, and they ruined her. Those fans ruined DeWanna Bonner's record. They ruined it. I'm not really record, going third all time. Still impressive, but it's not a record. But yeah, look, it is what it is. At the end of the day, it is what it is. So let me know what you guys think. Anyway, that's the video. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.